Hello and welcome to the Blackout Podcast, where I get to talk to amazing people who do amazing things. And today I have teacher, influencer, fashionista, awesome human being, and my friend Sarah McCann. Thanks for coming to the podcast
Thank
today.
you for having me.
You know what? I think we were talking earlier, and you know, you're mentioning that you have so many things on the go. So I think I'll start with teaching, because teaching is one of those jobs where, you know, we need teachers because like they make the world what it is today. Because I remember really good teachers I had that influenced me, but I also know I can't be a teacher. It's such a difficult, it's such a difficult job. So why did you decide to become a teacher?
I always loved kids. I loved to babysit when I was younger, and I grew up I didn't really know what I wanted to do. I wasn't a person who knew I was going to be a teacher from childhood. So I almost kind of stumbled into it from default a little bit. Like I knew I liked kids. I love reading. So I thought, oh, I want to teach kids to read. That sounds amazing. So that was kind of how, but it wasn't like I need to do this sort of thing for me.
So how long have you been teaching now?
About 15 years.
I guess you go to school to learn education, right? And then is there like a special training or whatever you need to do to become a teacher?
Yeah, so you have to have, well, here anyway, in Nova Scotia, you have to have an undergrad degree, and then you do an education degree on top of that. And part of your education degree involves a practical component, so you have to actually go and do a portion of your education in 2 different schools. And they try to like vary the grade as well, so you have experience across a couple different age levels.
That is one thing I've always thought, you know, everyone kind of learns the same thing. How do you now decide what class you teach? How's that decision made?
So you can either choose to be elementary or secondary. So elementary is what I do, which is primary to grade 6, and then secondary is 7 to 12.
Okay.
And so you have to decide kind of from the get-go what general area you're more interested in. But then after you graduate, it's really within those grades, you kind of have to take whatever job you can get in the beginning.
Okay.
Yeah.
So why did you decide to go with elementary versus secondary?
I'm afraid of teenagers.
yeah.
They're really scary.
They're mean.
Yeah, and being who I am, I know my personality I could not handle like being told to F off. I would go home and cry.
Oh, no.
Yeah. So I was
Okay.
like, no, I don't think that's for me.
Right. And then, so from the primary to grade 6, which of the grades did you end up in teaching?
So I've actually taught every grade within that except grade 4. Yeah.
What is it about grade 4 that?
Well, not on purpose. Just
okay.
that I think teachers really like grade 4, so there were never any jobs available.
So do you get assigned by, I guess, seniority?
Seniority.
Oh.
Yeah. Not in the beginning. Like in the beginning, you start as a substitute, and then
Wait, you can't just be a teacher. You have to sub. Oh.
Yeah. Well, although because they're now getting more desperate for teachers, it is a little bit easier to get your foot in the door.
Why are
There's a shortage. There's a teacher
like people are leaving this province, or
leaving the profession, or just not going into the profession to begin with so much anymore.
Some reasons why?
Well, for people starting out as a substitute, the pay is not great.
Is it paid by hour or?
Substitutes are paid by the day.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and it's
Actually,
not
so
amazing.
one thing that I've always been thinking of is like, you know, as a teacher, you have like in the class, but then you still do work outside. Mm-hmm. So how does that work? Do you like?
Well, we're salary employees, so you get paid a salary, and you have to just make sure that you get what you need done.
And what happens during the summer? You don't get paid?
We do. Now, substitutes don't.
That's nice.
Permanent teachers do. But we don't get paid for those days. It's smooth pay. So they just smooth our pay out across the whole year.
Okay.
But we're only
So
getting
that
paid.
you're still okay.
Yeah.
I get it. I get
Yeah.
it. So it's like, but you're still kind of getting paid and just having a nice summer. Though.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, kind of.
Okay. And how did the social media thing start? Because yeah.
That's an excellent question.
Like, you know, okay, I'm teaching and like
Yeah.
I'm gonna do stuff on Instagram.
Well, I am not a technology person at all. Like I didn't even have social media. Well, I had Facebook, but I didn't really use it. I didn't actually have Instagram until probably 2.5 years ago. So I joined really just to enter contests. I started to get really interested in one particular clothing brand called Smash and Tess, and the only way to enter to win their giveaways was to join Instagram. So I joined Instagram for that, and the more I watched other people post about their clothes and things, the more I thought, oh, this actually looks really fun. And I used to write quite a bit, and I missed writing, but I'm not someone who just writes without someone to read it. Like I had a hard time writing knowing that no one was ever going to read it. So I thought, oh, writing little captions sounds like a good, like quick, easy way to transition back into writing more. And it just seemed like a really nice creative outlet that I could try with not a lot of risk involved. Like, you know.
Let's talk about the writing thing. What style of writing do you love doing?
Well, when I was young, I wrote like fiction mostly, and not, it wasn't amazing. But I did actually have a short story published when I was in high school.
Oh, nice.
In one of the, I don't know if you remember the Chicken Soup for the Soul
Right,
books.
right.
Yeah, so one of my stories is in one of those, and
then you didn't like keep down that path, or you're just like,
Well, I very much grew up thinking that I needed a stable job.
Okay.
And writing, and most creative jobs are sort of like, I don't know.
You're winging it, really.
You're winging it, and that was not me
Fair enough.
at
Okay.
all. And so teaching, again, felt like a
Stable.
Yeah.
You're always going to need teachers. It's like
Right.
you're always going to need doctors and nurses
Yeah.
and teachers. It's like if you have that job, you should be fine.
Right, exactly.
And okay, so you did these captions, but yeah, how did it go from winning prizes to like having all these followers and actually getting like all these deals you have and all these many things you do on, especially on your Instagram?
I have absolutely no idea. I'm still like, what is even happening right now? I just found I really, really enjoyed it. I liked it more than I anticipated I would. And part of what I liked about it was the learning about photography a little bit and learning about video, like making videos. That had never been something I'd ever tried in my life. And also the connection. Like I really, really loved how many people that I started to meet online, and then I've actually started to meet some of them in real life too. And I just really like the idea of connecting with other people and hopefully also providing a little bit of inspiration to others to, take care of themselves through dressing nicely.
And yeah, why did you, I guess, Smash and Test, was that?
That's kind of the brand that.
So you did that brand, but now you have all these like codes and stuff. What was the very first one? How did you get the...
Oh gosh, the very first code. One of my really, really early ones was Ange Hill Fashion. So she is in Alberta, and she's a small, sustainable creator. And so I started interacting with her, and she, like, just through DMs, like asking her questions about her clothing and things. And then it turned out she was looking for ambassadors. And I, at the time, didn't have very many followers. So I thought, oh, well, she's probably not going to choose me. But those are actually the people that she was choosing, people like smaller influencers who actually had a relationship with her.
Yeah, see, that's the thing. I agree. Like, if I ever do it, it's, when it's too much, it's like, whatever, I'm just getting paid to do this. But there's an I love checking the interaction and how would their followers, because
Yeah.
it's one thing to post something, but it's something to say, okay, there's actually this engagement. Engagement is key to
Yeah.
me.
Yes. Yeah. Same. And that's probably my favorite part about it is the engagement.
Okay, so I mean, you started doing this, but okay, talk me through the process of say making a video. I mean, you're learning the photography and the video thing. How do you decide what everything is going to be, or you just
I have kind of a general, like I printed out a calendar. I'm old school, like I do it on a piece of paper with a pen. I printed off a calendar and I kind of block in ideas. Like if there's a special day coming up, I'll think, okay, well, I should do a post about World Kindness Day or whatever it is. And also I plug in the brands that I need to. So Ann Chill, I have an obligation to do 2 posts per month about her things. So I plug in all the things that I need to do. And then it kind of gets shuffled around. Like things come up and sometimes I'll have a random inspiration like, oh, I'm going to do this instead. And I totally scrap this, the schedule. So it's a little bit of both, like planning, but also winging it.
wow?
Yeah.
It's all you? Do you have people
Oh,
that
so it's just me.
like, oh my god?
My husband started taking the pictures in the beginning because I didn't have the stand or anything. And I found like I didn't feel, well, for one thing, I didn't want to waste his time. Like I felt like, no, that picture's no good. Because you need to take a lot.
Right.
So I was like,
Yes.
he's tired of taking a million photos.
Yeah.
So I thought,
yeah.
and I also felt a little bit awkward, like doing. I didn't feel like I could be as kind of loose and comfortable with him. Even he is my husband, but I also was like, he thinks I'm totally ridiculous right now, pretending to be a model or whatever. But so I then bought a stand to put my phone on, and I just started doing it myself, and I found that worked a lot better for me.
So on average, how many photos do you have to take
Oh
before
my
like
gosh.
that?
You should see my camera roll. Well, my storage is constantly full because I forget to delete them. But I would say like, well, and I've now started doing photos and video.
Yeah.
Any outfit that I want to show, I do both just in case one doesn't work out that well. I would say I usually try to do like 4 or 5 videos and like 20 photos.
To pick the one.
Yeah.
So let's talk about fashion. Like, where's the fashion thing from?
Well, it's funny. I loved fashion when I was a child, and I would draw my own designs. And I had this 80s amazing toy called fashion plates, where you do like crayon rubbing over these fashion stencils.
Oh wow.
So I started to focus more on school, and I stopped really caring about that. But then I found like once I hit about 40, I felt a little bit unsatisfied. I don't know if midlife crisis, something. So I thought I need to do something and remember like what I really love. So I tried thinking about my childhood and what I loved then, and fashion was one of the things. So I started putting more effort into what I was wearing and putting makeup on and that sort of thing, which I hadn't really been doing a lot of. And I felt so much better about myself, and my confidence was better. So it just kind of grew from there.
And then with the companies you work with, how do you decide which ones you work with versus not work with?
I try to stick with smaller brands or sustainable brands or ethical. Women-owned is also a lot of the ones that I work with are women-owned. I did start out doing some more fast fashion-y things, and then as I started posting more, I kind of veered away from that a little bit because I felt a little bit kind of guilty almost. Now, not to say I don't purchase fast fashion and wear fast fashion still, but I'm trying to steer more to making more ethical choices about what I wear and what I promote. And again, it's not perfect, but
I mean, I think, everyone is always a work in progress anyway.
yeah.
It's all about doing that work and saying, okay, this is where I want to go, and I'm walking towards that
Yeah.
route.
Yeah.
Huh. Okay, so the name, your Instagram handle, what's the story? Is there a story there? Or?
Yeah, so I was looking for something a little bit whimsical because I find like my sense of style is a little bit whimsical and playful and all over the place, really. Like
Frozen-y.
Yeah. I always wanted to be a princess. So the Starry Sky part was partly due to that, but also I really like alliteration. So I also was like, I either wanted something with fashion or style that sounded good together. So that's where that came from.
Are you going to go back to, do you still write anything? I mean, apart from the captions, of course, but.
Not a lot. I do have grandiose dreams of someday writing a novel, but maybe when I'm retired, because right now I don't have time. And also that's a really hard, like I don't know if I have the talent to do that. You know what I mean? But I do love the idea of that.
Of doing it.
Someday, maybe.
Someday. I mean, I think you should just, you know what, like get a collection of your captions and put in a book. That's what everyone does now. Just do collection of everything you've written and you just call it the Starry Sky Journal. I don't know.
Great, yeah. That never occurred to me.
Yeah, honestly, that's all you do. Because you just, like, you've written those captions, they exist. Copy, paste, put it together. Yeah.
That's a really good idea. Thank you. So glad I came.
But and I guess you're doing all that. You're a mom, you're wife, you're a sister. You do all these things, and you're a teacher also. How do you manage your time?
Well, it is a challenge,
Right.
and something always kind of has to fall by the wayside a little bit. So, for example, my house right now is a complete disaster. House cleaning has kind of fallen by the wayside. You just kind of have to pick and choose. Okay, today I have this little task to focus on for this project, and obviously, like being a teacher full time, that is my focus for many hours of the day. And I just try to use the little bit of time I have in the morning and afternoon and evening to try to fit in the other things. And you do have to be efficient and prioritize. And I found like I used to waste a lot of time in the evening watching TV. And I don't tend to do that anymore.
No? What shows did you used to watch?
Oh gosh. I did go through a period of really enjoying a lot of those reality shows. Like,
They're nice. I'm gonna be honest. Some of them are.
Some of them, yeah.
I was watching. There's one where the premise is so messed up. It's like I can't remember the title, but basically the ultimatum was no, it's not the ultimatum, but basically, like the couple and one is like, you have to marry me.
Yes.
And then you go to this place, and then you switch your partners.
Yeah, I have heard of that. I know.
And then you're like, oh, at the end of it, you have to either get married or break up. I'm like, why?
Yeah. I feel like I maybe watched one or two of those. And,
yeah, it's too much. It was just too much because, like, no.
Yeah, no.
But I get why they do it. I get why. Oh my God, there was another one I watched. I watch these things. I do. Where they brought this young man to this house and this older women.
Okay.
But it was their moms.
Oh, I heard about that. And I questioned, like, how did they get permission to make this?
I don't even know what is going on.
Weird ethical thing.
Yeah. Anyway, so how did you get like TV is really addictive? How did you reduce?
I just started to think, like, what am I really getting out of this?
True.
And I also found I wasn't really watching either. I was sitting there scrolling through my phone, not actually paying attention anyway. So then I kind of got to the point where I was like, oh, well, why am I even bothering to... I could scroll through my phone, but also do useful things that require a little bit more focus instead of just pretending I'm watching a show and pretending I'm doing something on the
Talking
phone.
of scrolling phone, another thing I've noticed is that you're starting to like teach people what you're doing. Oh yeah, teaching.
Teaching.
But yeah, so what's the idea behind that?
So I got really interested through this in digital marketing, which is now a big thing. Like there are so many people on this digital marketing kind of train. And I found though that a lot of the accounts are meant more for people who already kind of know a little bit about what they're doing. And when I started out, I knew absolutely nothing. Like I didn't even know that when you post a story, I was worried to post a story because I didn't know that you could like decide whether you actually wanted to. I thought that maybe it was live and like you couldn't fix it. So it took me a long time. Like I was on Instagram for at least a year before I ever posted anything at all. So I find like beginners that don't know things like that or don't even know how to like post an image and there's so many little glitches and tricks that you can learn just to be quicker and more efficient that a lot of people might not know. So I thought, maybe I should start sharing some of this. And also, my sister and I are going to be opening a business. So
Started with the fashion plate and now.
Yes, that's right. So I wanted to learn more about marketing in general and digital marketing. I thought, well, I already have a little bit of a start with that. So I've done a couple of different trainings and courses on digital marketing. And so I thought, oh, well, you know what? These are actually really good. And I want to start sharing that with other people who could maybe use a little bit of
Yeah, I love
guidance.
it. And I love like the stories are kind of funny, but the captions make sense. There was the one about exercise.
Oh, yeah.
I love that one a lot.
Thank you.
The business with your sister, what's that? Like, how long have you been thinking that? How close are you to opening it?
We're pretty close. So we're training right now. So the idea kind of started in the summer. I've been kind of toying with the idea of trying to go into business for a little while, and I didn't really know what to do. Obviously, style and fashion is something that I would love to do, but there are quite a few clothing stores that are struggling a little bit right now, smaller ones. So that's a little more risky than I was willing to go right now. So I did some research into what is going to stand a decent chance of being successful, and aesthetics is a big thing right now. A lot of people are willing to, they may not be willing to buy $100 dress, but they are willing to pay $100 to get their nails done or their, so I was looking into aesthetics, and something that I found that seems to be projected to grow is laser treatments.
Oh,
Yeah. So I looked into that, and there is a way that you can purchase a laser and get training right through the company to open your own laser business.
So I tried sugaring.
Oh, yes. Okay. I don't know a lot about that. I've not done that.
It's like, why do people wax? Like, what?
Because shaving sucks.
No, but it's painful.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Anyway, so
Yeah.
so then I found out that laser kind of does the same thing, but
Yeah.
less pain. So I'm like, I'm
Yeah.
really thinking of that.
Yes. Well, come and see me.
So your sister and you said you're really close to. Is it
Yeah,
gonna be
yeah.
for early next year or?
Early next year. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Possibly even the end of December.
Holy
But
smokes.
yeah, we've been
Do
we've been at
you
it.
have a name for it or?
Yeah, well, we're sticking with the Starry Sky theme.
Okay.
Just to keep it simple.
Yeah.
So, and again, I liked the way these sounded together. So we're calling it Starry Sky Aesthetics. Kind of flows, similar sounding words. So, and I also really like the meaning of the word aesthetic, like appreciation of beauty. And that's what I want it to be. Like, eventually I'd love to expand into more than just laser, but I want it to be a space where people can come and appreciate their own beauty and take care of themselves, take a moment out of their day to care for themselves, and just feel good about themselves.
Wow. It's always great talking to you, but I'm gonna let you go with this. Something that has come out is like, always thinking about being ethical and going down that path. And I'm sure you're gonna bring that into your business and the other things you do. Why is it important to you?
I just feel like we each have a responsibility to make better decisions if we are able to. And I know with fashion in particular, some people aren't necessarily able to because it is typically more expensive. And I am finally in a position in my life where I can make those decisions that might cost a little more, but be better for the planet and better for like supporting small businesses. Just feels like a more good for someone decision. So I just kind of feel that responsibility to do it now that I can.
Wow. Sarah, thank you so much for coming today.
Thank you.